You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Omondi Otieno.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on KUTV Primetime News. Remember, you can share thoughts with us on our social media platforms on Facebook, KUTV Kenya, and on Twitter, KUTV_Kenya. A make or a break, the decision Kenyans make every 5 years as they elect their respective representatives. Ahead of the 2022 general elections, new alliances are taking shape and Kenya's political scene is shrouded in uncertainty. In our discussion tonight, we are joined by Ochieng Karani, who is a senior scholar and a political pundit, as we demystify the current political standings and the future projections ahead of the 2022 general elections. Ochieng Karani.
Yes.
Welcome to KUTV.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself to our dear viewers.
Okay, thank you, Ken. My name is Ochieng Karani. I'm a final year at Kenyatta University, and I'm delighted to be here. Since this is my first time before national television, you can notice I'm a bit nervous, but I know with time and the many interviews to come, I think I'll be good to go. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ochieng Karani, for dedicating your time to be with us here tonight. Right into the discussion, the BBI bill. The Court of Appeal, it rejected, it termed the BBI bill as unconstitutional and also null and void. Now, the decision that was made by the Court of Appeal, was it wise? I mean, is it a lose or is it a gain for the Kenyans?
Okay, in my opinion, the decision by the appellate court on the BBI document, it was a win and a lose situation. Because why do I say so? It was a win situation because it led to upholding of the constitution. I mean, like constitutionalism, upholding constitutionalism, and it was a lose because there are certain inherent provisions that were going to benefit Kenyans that probably the promoters of the BBI, they are not going to seek the legal reprieve. So that's the end. After the Court of Appeal nullified the decision, those provisions, they won't go anywhere.
All right. Now, Attorney General Kiara Kariuki, we've seen him moving to the Supreme Court. He's going to appeal what the Court of Appeal had ruled.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, are we seeing a possibility that coming to the ruling of the Supreme Court, it might maybe sail through the BBI, it might sail through in the court in the Supreme Court?
Well, I may not be able to answer that because I wouldn't like to speculate, but probably it may not sail through, because looking at the judgment of the Court of Appeal and also the judgment rendered by the High Court, there's minimal possibility that the appeal or the legal reprieve that the AG is seeking from the Apex Court will succeed.
Now, that is from your own standing.
That's from my own. That's my own opinion.
So now that you're also thinking on that direction, don't you think the AG himself could also think into that direction to consider that the court of the High Court and also the Court of Appeal,
yes,
it ruled against the BBI, and now they are
yes,
going to the Supreme Court? I mean, why don't you think you wouldn't be satisfied with what the...
Of course, in war, you don't just surrender like that. If you still have chances, fighting chances, like you still have somewhere where you can seek a reprieve or you can get a fighting chance, of course you'll still seek it. That's why the AG is decided to seek the reprieve from the Apex Court. But in my opinion, I don't see if there's something that's going to change.
All right, Karani. Now, let's assume that the appeal that is being made by the Attorney General, it
yes,
goes through, it sails in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Do you think this will raise questions on the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, considering that the High Court and the Court of Appeal ruled against BBI, terming it as unconstitutional?
Of course, it will raise so many questions.
All right.
Definitely, it will raise so many questions.
Now, as well, let's get a bit of politics.
Yes.
Let's talk about Ruto. Yes. We've seen in many occasions Ruto as branded himself as a common man, as a hustler.
Yes.
To identify with the youth and also a big population
Yes.
Of the country. Do you think this narrative of the hustler narrative will work as an advantage to him in the forthcoming elections?
Of course, this probably may work to his advantage because the narrative sells so well with the youth. It resonates with the common man because you see, like, majority of the people are unemployed or they are employed in informal sector. So when you look at this thing and the current economic situation, the narrative may sail and the narrative may be advantageous to him, despite the fact that the narrative may not be so appealing, or it may be just made of abstract statements that do not really offer solutions to the society.
Wakili, why would you say that the narrative might not be appealing yet? We see in the by-election that we have in the past, he has been able to win a number of seats. Like we've seen the Kiamba by-election, we've seen in the London ward in Nakuru,
Okay.
in the Rururi ward, he
Yes.
identified, and won some of those, by electoral
sure.
seats.
Yeah.
So why would you say that it might not be appealing to?
I am not saying that it might not be appealing in the sense that it might not appeal to the common mwananchi.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is that it may appeal to the common mwananchi, but the idea itself is not genuine. There's an ulterior motive in that hustler narrative. That's
All right.
whatever I'm saying. But it will definitely sell to the common man because some of the ideas being advanced resonate so well with the youths who are the majority in this country.
Now, UDA.
Yes.
You also know it's a new outfit in the political scale of Kenya.
Yes.
And we, as I've mentioned before, we've seen it win some of the by-election, that
Sure.
we had in the country before.
Sure.
And what works for the goose works for the gander.
Definitely.
Don't you think that UDA has a higher chance of going also to clinch into the some of most on the top seat in coming elections?
Of course, like I've said, the idea itself, the hustler narrative, it is selling, and the evidence is there. They have won the by-elections that we have already mentioned. So it's selling. So the possibility that they may win top seats cannot be overstated enough. There are possibilities that they are going to win.
And now, Wakili, as we are headed to the 2020 general elections,
Yes.
we've known Kenyans voting
Yes.
with the ethnic affiliations,
Yeah,
where
yes.
you find in Nyanza, ODM leader Raila Odinga, he garners a lot of votes, and when it goes to other regions, the leaders from those regions garners a lot of votes,
Yes.
meaning Kenyans are voting according to the ethnic affiliations
Yes.
to their leaders. Are we seeing a change? Are we seeing any possibility of the coming elections, Kenyans at least voting based on the manifestos of these leaders?
Looking at the current political discourses in this country, I don't think if there's any change that, or even slight change that we should expect, because still the political discourses right now are still based on ethnic mobilization. You see people mobilizing themselves in terms of their ethnic groups. And the youth, even if you converse with the youth, the conversations are just premised around individuals. They are not premised around ideologies.
Now, Ching Wakili, that is also so interesting from you. But we are seeing, a big number of the voters in the expected 2020 elections is the youths, because the last population that we had, it really indicated that a number of, a big chunk of the voters in Kenya are youths. But we've seen the Western intrusion, the culture. We are embracing the Western culture. And, in the West, people vote based on the manifestos. Don't you think Kenyans, the youth who are exposed to that to the Western culture, don't you think they might, at some point, try to emulate what's happening in the West? They vote based on the policies that are not in the ethnic affiliations.
I will agree with you that Western civilization has really found some inroads into our country and also into our continent. But as per now, I don't think if it has really found itself or it has found its way into our politics. Our politics are still based on personalities. They are not based on ideas. And even if you get to hear the conversations that our youths are advancing, they are still based on personalities, because you'll get a youth, is hating on William Ruto, so he'll vote Raila Odinga. Or I'm voting William Ruto because I want to punish Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm not voting the idea. I'm voting an individual. So it will happen. Of course, change is inevitable. Change is inevitable, and it will definitely happen, but I don't see it happening in the forthcoming elections.
Now, in your position as a youth wakili,
Yes.
what do you think should be done? What can you tell Kenyans, more so the youth, so that they change from this narrative of voting based on the ethnic affiliations? We start, arguing based on the manifestos that these leaders have. What should be done to the youth so that at least we change, we shift from that?
I think first we can have civic education. It's really important because there are some people who are really politically illiterate, and civic education can really help. Yeah.
Now, moving forward, we've all seen from the past the elections in Kenya. Let's take an example with the presidential elections.
Yes.
We've always seen that these elections, when it's coming to an end, when we're nearing the elections so close, it becomes a two-horse race. We are seeing one big party, against another big party.
Yeah, sure.
And this time round, we've seen Jimmy Wanjiru saying that he wants to vie for the presidential seat. We've seen Mukisa Kitui.
Yes.
We've also seen Justin Muturi coming in, want to vie for that top seat.
Yeah.
Don't you think, what do you think? Will they all be able to run to the finish line in the coming elections?
I wouldn't like to speculate, but just to speculate a bit, I don't think if some of them are going to run to the finish line. Some of them are just trying to consolidate support so that when they go to negotiate in that table where these bigwigs like Raila Amolo Odinga or William Ruto are having negotiations to have their running mates, they can have an upper hand because they will have already consolidated support from, let's say, strongholds in quote. But I don't see most of them running to the finish line.
So you say you don't see most of them running to the finish line.
Definitely.
So in your own speculation, how do you see the final lineup in the coming elections? Who people? What do we expect to see in the when the election is now nearing?
Like I've already said,
Yes.
I wouldn't like to speculate, but my speculation at the moment, I think William Ruto will be definitely there. He has been crystal clear that he's going for the top seat. Raila Amolo Odinga has not declared yet, but the body language says it's all. He's going to be there. Mudavadi and the Oka principles, I can't speculate. Jimmy Wanjiru, I can't speculate too. But the two, I'm almost sure they'll be on the ballot.
The most interesting part that at least I would want to see, yes. I'd want you to mention something about is the ODM party, because ODM leader Raila Odinga, he's not come out clearly that he's coming, he's going for this top seat.
Yeah, sure.
But we've seen Jimmy Wanjiru coming out clearly that he wants to go for this top seat.
Okay.
Now, tell me, try to help us explain this. What should you expect to see in ODM concerning the two leaders?
In my opinion,
yes,
Jimmy Wanjiru, like I've said, some of these aspirants, the so-called presidential aspirants at the moment, they are trying to consolidate support from their home ground so that when they go to that negotiation table, they may have a wide berth to negotiate, or they may have that wherewithal to negotiate and be given chance to express themselves. So in the case of someone like Jimmy Wanjiru, you can't say that Jimmy Wanjiru is going to popularize Raila Amolo Odinga in Mount Kenya really, because Raila is already known. So I am ruling out that one. You can't also say that Jimmy Wanjiru is going to popularize ODM party. ODM party is known. So whatever Jimmy Wanjiru is doing, he's trying to consolidate his support. He's trying to consolidate his supporters. So when he goes to the negotiation table, definitely, or probably with Raila Amolo Odinga, he may have that wide berth to negotiate. He may have higher chances than maybe those who are also eyeing for that seat of the running mate.
But political pundits are also arguing that
yes.
the strategy of Jimmy Wanjiru,
Yes.
of him, going for this top seat, might be what you've said, to popularize the ODM party, in the Mount Kenya region and, other regions that are not the strongholds of ODM leader Raila Odinga.
Which I don't agree with.
Why don't you agree with that? Because there is high speculations about that.
Of course, there's speculation. Everyone must speculate. You must have an opinion on every issue. And on this one, like I'm saying, you can't say that Jimmy Wanjiru is going to popularize Raila in Mount Kenya. Raila is known in Mount Kenya. So, from where I sit, I think Jimmy Wanjiru is just trying to consolidate his support. Because other than his home county, Nyeri, where is Jimmy Wanjiru known, or where does he have that solid support that is apparent, that is crystal clear, that when we go to this place, we can say Jimmy Wanjiru has at least 100 supporters. He's just trying to consolidate his supporters, trying to attract new supporters, so that when he goes to that negotiation table with whatever candidate will be on ballot for ODM, he may have that white bath.
Now, Wakili, even as we try to wind up this discussion,
yes,
let's for a moment, let's talk about the One Kenya Alliance. We've seen the principles there. We've seen Mudavadi. We've seen the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. We are seeing the Ford leader Moses Wetangula, and the KANU leader also Gideon Moi.
Yes.
But Kenyans have really been waiting on this. They would really want to see who is going to be their flag bearer. What's your opinion from where you sit?
From where I sit, I'm confused like every Kenyan, because they haven't really shown us if they are serious. In my opinion, they haven't really shown us if they are serious, because they have had a series of meetings in different places, and we are expecting that they will have a solid conclusion, that they will tell us this is the flag bearer that we have agreed on, but that has not happened. So from where I sit, I'm still confused, but on the flip side, I may say that maybe they are just doing some theatrics, but at the end of the day, they may join either UDA or Raila Amolo Odinga in ODM.
That's so interesting of you, Wakili. Now, as we wind up this discussion, I'd want you to talk to the youth, because we'd really want a change in the political scene of Kenya. When it comes to election, we'd really want to see Kenyans arguing, we're going to vote based on the manifestos and not the ethnic affiliations. We still have time. There is about it's how many months?
Can't really.
Let's say
11 months.
About 11 months to the general elections. Yes. What would be your advice to the youth who are now they got the numbers in, they have the say in the coming elections? What would be your advice to them?
First, I will advise the youth to stick to voting based on ideas and not based on personality. Let's not vote out somebody just because we are hating on him, or let's not vote someone in just because we want to punish another person. Let's vote on ideas, and these ideas must be concrete. Let's not vote on abstract ideas that offer no solution to the youth. Then another thing, I will also encourage youths to vie, because we have the numbers. When you look at the last census, at least 35.7 million, I think, or something of the sort, are people under the age of 35. That means that we have the numbers. If we can register as voters, then we vie, then we support our own youth. Some of these problems that we are undergoing probably may be solved by the youth.
You're saying the problems we are undergoing might be solved by the youth?
Definitely.
Do you mean the youths as leaders, or
youths as leaders when they are elected to those political offices? Because some of them best understand our problems than some of these people.
And now, based on your advice to Wakili,
okay,
don't you think now the youth might be now shifting their thoughts of not voting the people who are seemingly to be old in that election that we are having?
Yes.
They come to the youth, because you're seeing Jimmy Wanjiru has identified himself as a youth. Do you think that can make them think on that line?
That one can make them think on that line. I can't deny that.
All right, that's all we had for you on our discussion tonight. That has been Ochieng Wakili Ochieng Karani, we identify me as Wakili. Many thanks indeed for your valued company on that particular bulletin, and we still have more stories for you, so keep it right here on KUTV Primetime News.